Welcome to Gaia's Calling, where stories ignite your spirit and the earth whispers her secrets. I'm Brad Swift, a Write on Purpose author of eco-fiction and nonfiction, inviting you to become an eco-guardian. Together, let's explore the wonders of our world and take action to protect them. Listen closely, Gaia is calling. And today's call is for projects that matter. Purposeful action at every age and stage. So let's dig in. For a long time I thought the answer was just doing more. More writing, more coaching, more composting, more sharing, just more of everything. But here's what I've come to realize. Doing more only really matters if we're doing what matters to us. Purposefully, joyfully, in alignment with what we love and long to protect. Taking action as an eco-guardian doesn't mean becoming a full-time climate activist, although it could lead there. It might mean planting a single tree with your child, or starting a weekly soup and story night. Could be writing a short story that changes one reader's mind. Small acts matter, especially when they're rooted in joy and aligned with your why. Remember the trimtab effect we learned from my hero, Bucky. So, let's follow the breadcrumbs of purpose. Let me tell you a slightly sideways story. Remember Hansel and Gretel? As the story goes, they dropped breadcrumbs behind them in the forest so they could find their way home. But the birds came and gobbled them up, leaving the kids lost. That part always felt a little bit of a tragedy to me, until recently. Because now I think the breadcrumbs did serve a purpose. Even though the kids couldn't see them anymore, they'd already done something wise. They'd followed their intuition. They'd paid attention, and even without a clear path back, they found their way forward. So here's my invitation to you this week. Follow the breadcrumbs of your own purpose and passion. Even if you can't see yet where the path leads, I promise you, you won't be disappointed where you end up. That's what's happened for me more than once, actually. This entire One Cause project began with a breadcrumb of inspiration and, yes, the desperation mixed in due to the results of the latest presidential election. It's now growing into a movement here in Substack. I then added in a daily vow to help true myself up to the four great truths. Interconnectedness, sufficiency, reciprocity, and stewardship. And now it's evolving into the Eco Guardian Youth Project, complete with a secret library, an Eco Guardian compass, an Eco Author Challenge, and plans for an Eco Guardian training camp or camps that equip the next generation of planetary protectors. I never could have imagined all that, but I'm grateful I started anyway. So, what about you? Where might your breadcrumbs be leading you? Let's chat about it here on Substack. The seeds of inspired action. Let's see if we can't simplify this. Inspired action almost always starts with one, or sometimes more, of these three seeds. Number one, love. What breaks your heart? Or makes it sing with joy and possibility, or perhaps both. Or curiosity. What question or story keeps tugging at your sleeve? The one that wakes you up in the middle of the night, or won't let you fall asleep to begin with. Or purpose. What feels like a sacred yes, even if you don't know how to begin. It may even feel like an impossible mission to you. I know mine does. Now, remember, you don't need all three. One is enough. Of course, the more the merrier. My own seed was this simple question. How can we raise a generation of young people who truly know themselves as part of Earth's living system, and they're excited to protect it? That seed led to one cause, which again grew into the Eco Guardian Secret Library, the Storyteller to Story Maker pathway, and more about that later, the Eco Author Challenge, more about that coming up soon too, and the beginning of the Eco Guardian training camps, all of which share a single intention: to create a new generation of joyful, purposeful Earth protectors, Eco Guardians in training. So, where and how to begin? You don't have to start big. Just start where you are. Here's your regeneration action menu. Real things you can do tailored to different spheres of life. So let's start with the personal or your interactions. Simply, maybe take a daily walk with Earth. Leave the phones home. Just be present to the Earth and nature. Journal your values, hopes, and ideas. Consume mindfully, because what we read, watch, and yes, eat shapes us. Or write your own Eco Guardian vow to remind yourself who you're becoming. And why not share your own personal action here? There's a comment button. And on the family or household actions, you could start a weekly soup and story night of reading eco-fiction together or share nature gratitude. Not sure what to start reading? Send me an email at brad@wbradfordswift.com to receive beta access to the Eco Guardian Secret Library. You could also grow something, even a single herb pot. Or take on a family challenge from the Dominion Overall Eco Adventure Playbook. That's one of the many resources you'll find within the Secret Library. Or at the community-based action level, you could host a repair cafe or a clothing swap. You could join or launch an Earth Listening Circle. Or you could organize a litter walk and nature reflection event for your local youth. And of course, there's also the global and movement-aligned actions, like writing your local rep with ideas for regenerative policies, or start a one-cause club or Eco Guardian pod with your friends. Share this project with someone who might just run with it. So, educators and mentors and parents, many of these resources are available free via the growing Eco Guardian Secret Library. Let me know if you'd like early access. Now let's look at some micro missions by age. Here are a few sample starter missions by age group, and yes, you're invited to remix or invent your own. So if you have somebody in the ages of 10 to 12, map your backyard biodiversity, or create a talking tree comic strip. Or you could write eco-fiction fan fiction for a favorite book or animal. Or you could start keeping an art plus nature journal. Or if you're in the ages of 13 to 18, you could launch a peer-led podcast or YouTube channel on local ecology. Or create a secret library club at your school. Maybe map where nature is thriving or hurting in your town. Or interview local elders about how nature has changed. And for the adults and elders, how about hosting an intergenerational circle? Or mentor an Eco Guardian in training? Or organize a sharing table or a free cycle event? Maybe write a legacy letter to your family about the values as an Eco Guardian. So, what's your own micro mission? Want to invent one and share it below as a comment? your activation invitation. So let me wrap this up with something simple and doable, a starting point for your next step. Pick one action. Start small if that's where your energy is, or dream big and declare your own impossible mission. One that calls you to rise beyond what you've ever done before. Don't worry about the whole staircase. Just take the next step that feels joyful, aligned, and yours. So here's your mini mission. Pick one quadrant this week, maybe in the being area, to start meditating, breathe more naturally, or flow in nature. Or in the doing area, take one small aligned mission. Or relating, call a friend, thank a teacher, join a group. And creating, start something, anything, a ripple, a garden, a letter. Let me know what purposeful action you'll take on this week in the comments. In fact, making and leaving a comment here might be one of those actions. What's your project spark? What's one small way you're stepping forward? Remember, we're in this together, and it all matters more than we know. So, with purpose, this is Brad, a.k.a. W. Bradford Swift, Eco Guardian in Training and author of One Cause. Take care.